Alright, so in this video I'm going to use the same packet, but I'm going to work on problem number 3 because it's a little different. Alright, so in this function we have a function f of x, and this is a piecewise function because we can see it has 3 different parts. So this is the first function we're going to graph, the second one we're going to graph, and the third one we're going to graph. Alright, so if you notice, it gives us where to graph them, and it gives us where they want the pieces graphed here. So in this function, they want us to use x values -3 to 0. So I'm going to just use this table down here and fill in my table from -3 to 0. And then this middle function, they only want us to go from 0 to 2. And then in this one, they want us to go from 2 to 5. And while I'm here, I'm going to kind of mark which ones are open, which ones are closed. So if you notice, this has an equal to sign, so this is going to be closed. This one doesn't, so it's going to be open. This one, so it's going to be closed, closed, and then this one's going to have open here and open here. So that's just to remind myself what dots are open, what dots are closed when I go to plot the points on the graph. Okay, so the first function here I'm going to use, it tells me to use this function here. So I'm going to go to my y equals in my table, and I'm going to type in -x², just as I see it, plus 1. Then I'm going to look at the table. The only y values I care about, though, are when my x is -3 to 0. So when x is -3, I got -8, -2 is -3, 0, and 0, 1. All right, now for this one's kind of different. This is just saying y is equal to 1. So the only thing I want here is y is equal to 1. And if you remember, that's going to give us the horizontal line, because the y values are always equal to 1. So if you look at the table too, all my y values are 1. So that makes it easy for me. It's just going to be 1. There. All right, the third function, if you notice, that's going to be a line because it's in the form of y equals mx plus b. So if I type that in my calculator like so, I'm going to look at my table. But now I'm only going to look at the table from 2 to 5. So at 2, it's -1. At 3, it's 2. At 4, it's 5. And at 5, it's 8. Okay, now I'm ready to plot. So I'm going to do this in 3. I'll do this in blue, and then we'll do the other ones in another color. Okay, so this is going to be closed, so -3, -8. Maybe down here. Okay, then I have -2, -3, -1, 0, 0, 1. And this one's going to be open, remember, so make sure to be careful when you're plotting. And if you notice, x² means it's a parabola, so it's going to be curved. So do your best and just draw to the best of your ability. I missed a line there, that's not the best drawing, but you get the point. No pun intended. All right, and then for this middle part, I'm going to do it in green. So both of the endpoints are closed here. So 0, 1, that's going to fill in that point there. 1, 1 is here, and 2, 1 is here. So that gives me that horizontal line in the middle. Now I'm going to switch and do this one in pink. So I got, remember this first one is open, 2, -1. That's here. 3, 2. That's closed. 4, 2, 5. And this one's open as well. Okay. So this one is the one that I'm talking about. This function is discontinuous, even though there's the 3 pieces, right? But it's discontinuous. And so what's really important, why this point has to be open, is if it was filled in, it would not pass the vertical line test, therefore it wouldn't be a function anymore. So when you're graphing discontinuous functions, you have to be really careful that those are not both filled in, otherwise it's not a function anymore. Okay, in this endpoint, it doesn't really matter if it's open or closed. Just be careful when you look at the graph or what the interval says to make sure if you should fill it in or not. Okay, so again, this is the piecewise function. So this part was a parabola, that part was a horizontal line, and this one was an increasing line there. If you notice, there's no, it doesn't go to infinity, so there should be no arrows on any of this, but there should be 3 different parts since there was 3 different functions given to you. Okay, So steps for this, a good idea is to fill in your table with x values. That's a good first step, and then fill in the y values based on the different functions they give you. And then mark if they're either filled in or not filled in. And then finally, when you're done with all that, then you can graph it. Okay? So that really encompasses all of the different parts of piecewise functions. So the rest of this packet is just really good practice for all of that. You might encounter, some lines, some quadratics, exponential. And so that's why we had to talk about all of those first in order to do these types of functions here. If you have any questions, you can ask the sub, or I'll see you tomorrow.